interesting.
You've got to fight for what you want, for all that you believe. It's right to fight for what we want, to live the way we please. As long as we have done our best, then no one can do more. And life and
Hello there, welcome to the Flushing Blood Podcast Live, Series 1, number 203. I'm Siobhan. Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. So long. Where did we go wrong? Let's meet the plucky girl assistants. Oh, well, look, there's the Brian, and he's from America.
Hello.
Hello, the Brian.
Hello, the Siobhan.
There is only one.
Greetings from America.
Yeah, we're not talking to you. I'm sorry. No,
Nobody else is either.
And fresh out of rehab. That's where she was on the last show. She did not take the election result very well. She went into rehab for her crochet habit.
It's okay. It's okay. You're among friends. You're in a safe place here.
It's Lilibet the Wonder Girl.
Hello. If it was for crochet, that intervention failed.
Yes.
I told you we should have gotten the I feel signs and stuff, but no.
I've been working on that pink and green one back there.
Pink and green
Plus
what?
the other one. There's a pink and green blanket
I see.
behind
That's
me.
blanket. Thank you.
And
Sorry,
then
it's
there's the other one.
it's hard to recognise as just a lump of colour.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it is a lump of color on a different, entirely lump of color.
Hang on, Brian's confused.
So I'm looking at our feed,
Yes.
and I'm looking back at here.
Yes.
The only one who's oriented right is Lilibet.
That is because I do things properly.
What do you mean oriented?
Okay, so in reality, my lamp and bookcase are on my left hand side. On the feed, it's on the right.
Yes, because this, yeah, when you look at your own camera on Discord, it'll always reflect it. That's
Okay,
why when
you're
people-
reflected then.
yes, I am.
She is not.
Because that's on my left.
Yep.
No, that's okay. Now, Lilibet, however, will see her own picture reflected. Am I right, Lilibet?
No.
No, I don't see my picture reflected. That's my right, that's my left.
Yeah.
And did that come up as right and left on the picture?
Yeah.
We have a mystery! Lilibet's broken the
You're
internet.
trash at this.
She's broken the internet. Hey, we got 4 viewers. Where do these viewers come from? Hello, viewers. Oh, well, Zombie Wolf 9000 is there. Good evening, my dear. You are more
Hello,
than welcome.
Wolves.
Right. Stuff.
And things.
Yes. Put them in the
Ooh, we
nooks
got
and
stuff and
crannies.
things.
That's where you keep stuff and things. I want nooks and crannies. Nooks and crannies are good. Ah, Brian, how's
How about
your...
Thomas's this week?
You want what? Where? Who? What?
Thomas's.
You want Thomas?
Over here, they're for English muffins and stuff. But they also sell, whatchamacallit? Cornbread cakes.
Thomas's?
Yeah, that's
What's
where
Tho-
I'm getting my cornbread for
what's-
Thanksgiving
what-
this year.
what-
Oh, nice.
Thomas is the name of the company, is it?
Yes.
Yes.
Stop being
what-
American!
They what connected it is that they advertised the muffins having nooks and crannies. That was the connection.
And you
made.
Oh
fill
my
them
God.
with butter, and it tastes happiness.
I've just experienced what it's like to talk to me.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Mhm.
Oh, I
didn't
don't like
even
that.
say-
I don't.
didn't
I'm
even
so
say
sorry.
Damn, song lyrics this time.
Yeah. The reason I put Mr. Blue Sky this time around because everyone's gone to Blue Sky.
Yeah.
And that is in fact a message from God because I saw it on Blue Sky under God's
I
account.
saw God. I have followed God.
Yeah, and God talks sense. And I just thought that was appropriate. That was all, because at the moment it's far nicer. It won't be, but at the moment it is. And
Yes.
the one thing I like
Will
about
Wheaton's actually on it.
Will Wheaton?
He's taken a break from social media, but he's joined Blue Sky. He has nothing in his profile. He's posted no content, and he has 5,000 followers.
If it's Will Wheaton. Yeah, I'm sorry, I was wanting so badly to leave Twitter, but all the people who make me smile were on Twitter, and there were so many different platforms that people were going to. It's a case of we're going to lose this sense of cohesion, and everyone has finally, it seemed, picked a social media, and it's Blue Sky, and it's at the moment it's very nice over there.
It
I've
is
got to
beautiful
admit,
over
I've
there.
left Twitter.
It's very pleasant.
It is.
There's no one shouting or yelling at you, and anyone who does,
Blue
is
sky
blocking.
smiling at me. It's probably the wrong line, but what the hell. I did singing.
You did?
Sorry. How's your fortnight been, Bri?
Busy,
Yeah.
lots of busy.
Did you enjoy yourself last night?
I enjoyed myself last night.
You'll go
I've
blind.
had a lot of contract work over the last week or so. They're switching contracts at work, and you have to get ready for. I have to redo my training. I don't want to do retraining.
Do you want me to
Click.
do you want me to do it for you?
I wouldn't mind, but
I wouldn't
have to
understand a
actually
word of
log
it.
into their training. I have to click play on the videos. Then I have to answer questions at the end. Thing is, I stopped listening to those videos somewhere in between, 0 to 5 seconds.
Retta! Hello. Sorry for podcast listeners, because of course this is a podcast now.
Yes.
Retta has just appeared in chat. She's a friend of ours, and she caused chaos last night. And it broke me.
I'm just going to say this once, and then I'm going to leave it alone. But as God is my witness,
It's
I
true.
thought turkeys could fly.
True. Yeah, you need to watch last night's RPG. It's up on the Thaco Gaming YouTube channel. It got a bit silly, yet somehow all made sense.
The thing is, I didn't even plan it out like that. This was planned months in advance with those same things.
Yep.
And it just lined up perfectly.
Sorry, she said a chew. Retta got an allergy last night. Watch the video. Just watch the video because it's worth it.
I'll throw the video up in chat for people to.
Oh, man. What, you mean for Zombie Wolf to have a look? Oh, dear me. Right,
Watching is watching.
what about your fortnight, Lilibet? How's that been? Have you
It was good. 2 weekends ago, when we were supposed to record, my mom was visiting.
No, you
so
were in
we had a very
rehab,
nice
don't lie.
No, like we were doing things.
So
I made a painting.
your mum
and all.
visited you in rehab, and you did a nice sort of
We did
helpful
art therapy.
thing. You
is
did
what we
art
did.
therapy in rehab. That's nice. I'm not letting this drop. That is really good.
Wow, that is good.
So
Oh my God.
we had a nice time.
Which one of you did the most of it? And why is Kroll in the back?
No. She has her own one. We
All
each
right.
did our
Oh,
own
you
one.
did one and she did one.
So
Okay.
Yes.
you basically got
Yes.
two flowers worshipping Kroll.
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes. And then it comes and takes over.
Yeah, man.
And yes.
Yes.
No, I like that. I like that a lot.
Thank you. So we had a nice
really
visit. Her
good.
birthday was that Tuesday. So we sort of did the art as an early birthday present.
Lovely.
Yeah, it was really nice. And then last week, my brother Matthew came down. God bless him. He drove down on about an hour and a half worth of sleep because he's on night shift now. And he works for Florida Division of Emergency Management. So he works
Constantly.
Yeah, yeah. Right now they're still, at heightened deal with
I'm
hurricane
sure.
stuff. Um, so he came down to talk to my students for Great American Teaching,
Mhm.
and he's very kind to stay 2 days so he can talk to all of my students and not just one group. So he taught all of my classes on Thursday, and then the remaining classes on Friday that he hadn't seen. And then we had a nice dinner on Thursday with my cousins, and then he drove home. Um, so very nice visit. Good to see him. I don't get to see him as often as I'd like. Um, so it was very nice the last 2 weeks of lots of family, lots of doing fun stuff, and then now I'm just kind of gonna collapse for a couple of days
I think that's allowed, don't you?
before
Totally
we gear
allowed,
up
totally.
for
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And then I'm gonna go up. I'm off for the whole next week
There you
for
go.
Thanksgiving break. So I'm looking forward to that. But it's been good. Busy, slightly crazy, but good.
Yeah, I will be spending Thursday damning the spirits of those who dumped that tea.
Mm.
Degenerate colonists. That's all you are. Like I say, I don't care about anything else you did, but that was a crime against tea.
America.
I did think when we went to dinner with my cousins, and one of them wasn't feeling very well.
Oh.
So she just had sort of tea and toast and that kind of thing. So she asked, we were at the restaurant, she asked for tea, and they brought her a cup of hot water in a tea bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. That's acceptable.
And I thought, oh, Dave would have words.
Well, though it's acceptable, though preferably it would have been better to have boiling water poured on the tea bag and then brought to the table.
Yeah, the water was not anywhere near boiling.
Oh, are we talking tepidity?
I don't think it was
That word.
tepid. I think it was warm, but it was not anywhere near boiling. So
So you guys, after all these centuries, haven't learnt.
Why do you think we threw it in the harbor?
Just remember, where the podcast
Too
that likes a
complicated
nice
for
cup
us.
of tea. Still are.
Complicated. That's all.
So I hear that you have Car Saga chapter 17 and a half.
Car Saga 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Actually, no, Ice Boogaloo, I think we'll call this.
Mm.
Internal combustion engine. Okay. Those
I'm
of
gonna get
you...
comfy for a story.
Yeah, I am so sorry about this. Why can't I just have things go quickly wrong and then it's sorted? Why does everything have to become a saga? Through no fault of mine.
Because if you didn't have sagas, what would you do with yourself?
Probably be a bit less stressed, you know? I've just seen what Retta's written in chat. Sore loser. Hey, we sold the land that became where Brian's living for $1. Just remember that. The Carteret family from Jersey.
$24 in some
Unfortunately,
shiny-
they were also quite big in the slave trade, and so we don't talk about that. You bastards. Right, yes, Car. Those of you who have been watching the live version of the show, not the podcast listeners, so at some stage I will release audio of the other 200 shows.
Previously on
Yeah.
episodes of Siobhan's
I
Car Saga.
apologize in advance, podcast listeners. It's going to be a lot.
Well, no, I'm going to try and make this short. It's the things that actually happen that just make my head boggle slightly. Anyway, I'd had trouble getting my new car, and there was all sorts of chaos and confusion and whatever. However, bottom line was I ended up with the correct new car, and I fell deeply in love with it. I adore that car. I really do. I want to marry it. It's an electric Ioniq 5, and it's perfect for me. And then somebody drove into the side of it
Oh.
whilst it was parked, because you know how tricky stationary vehicles are to avoid.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah.
They're
They just
weaselly.
jump right in front of anything.
It's amazing how that happens.
Yeah.
So, I've had to obviously jump through the usual hoops, get the insurance involved and everything else like that. And they arranged for me to get a loaner car. I had to jump through a hoop to get a special code from the license department for this, but I could have a loaner car. And they delivered it on, when are we talking? Thursday. They delivered it on Thursday and picked my car up. And then my cleaner. Now, I'd picked my cleaner up in my old car. And then, obviously, during that happening, the hire car turned up.
Mm-hmm.
My cleaner had left her front door keys in my car.
Oh, no.
So I phoned up the garage, only to find out the guy had already back. He'd somehow got back there really quickly. Remind me I said that. Okay. Okay, so we drove down there in this awful little Skoda Fabia thing. It's petrol. It's manual. I've been driving electric for 3.5 years. You know, it was a horrible shock. But the bottom line is, as we drove down there, I realised this car's no use to me. It's too small. I can't put the mobility scooter in the boot. It's just no use. So, got down there, got the keys back for Monica, and that was good. And then I said, look, I'm really sorry, but the car's not fit for purpose in this instance. You know, I've got mobility needs and what have you. And they were not at all happy about it. Indeed, one of them said, well, we told you to phone Motability. I said, no, you only told me to phone them if I wanted an electric car. You didn't say anything about that. Well, there's nothing we can do. We've either got that or a Vauxhall Corsa. Right. Okay. So went back, phoned up the Motability insurance people. They said, right, okay, what we'll do is we'll hire you a car instead. And all you've got to do is, once that's sorted out, you can contact the garage and they can come and pick up their Skoda. That did it. And within an hour, I had the replacement.
Wow.
Which is quite good. I hate it. I hate it. It's a Vauxhall Grandland. Again, it's a petrol. It's bigger than my car, so I'm being very tentative with it. The miles per gallon I'm getting at the moment, just because I just use it to go from home to the shops and back, a 2-minute drive. 9.5 miles per gallon.
Ouch.
Yeah. And that's mostly
That's not
downhill.
great.
It's a rental.
That's, that's going, what, 20 miles an hour maximum? It's,
Yeah, that's not good.
No, it's not. And petrol's more expensive than electricity. So, yeah, I got a phone call from the garage to tell me what was wrong. Apparently, because what it was a dent on the wheel arch, and then a very slight dent with a scrape along the rear passenger door. And apparently they had to replace the whole door because it had damaged something on the inside of the door. Mm-hmm. And they were also going to have to replace the front door as well, apparently for colour matching. Even though the whole car is the same colour and it's brand new. I am crying shenanigans.
That seems unlikely unless
Yeah.
there's some kind of damage right there at the
Why replace the front door?
post. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm phoning the insurance company up tomorrow and say, right, this is it. Whatever you do is down to you. I've told you. You know, it's in your hands. I just think there's shenaniganery. And going back to the how did he get back so quickly, I've got an app on my phone for my electric car, and it told me how fast he was going. Oh, yes, he broke the speed limit.
Oh dear.
Not happy about that. Tempted to take a screenshot of it and send it to them and say, would you care to explain this, please? Yeah. Retta says, I got hit by a car that was being towed. The towed car, not the tow truck. This was a few years ago. Wow. Well, it must have been harder, really, to see you, Retta, rather than a car. But if you got hit by the car,
No, I
did you
think
go over
her
the
car
bonnet?
got hit.
I'm sorry, what?
Her car got hit by.
She said she got hit.
Yeah. That usually means the car got hit.
So she identifies as a car.
We're
I
Americans.
identify as
The
a-
answer to
as-
that is yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
I identify as a meat popsicle. So
Listen, I'm happy that we've chosen to join Autumn for 5 minutes, and I get to break out the sweater.
right. It'd be great outside if it would just stop fucking raining.
Oh no, Retta's got serious in chat.
Oh no.
Oh no, Retta, stop being
Does
serious.
not do the identify crap.
Stop being serious. This is the Flashing Blade. We do not do serious unless I'm off on a rant.
It's been raining since Thursday here.
Oh.
We've had Storm Bert, which is a good name for a storm. We're hoping for Storm Ernie, but we'll have to wait. But Storm Bert. And yeah, oh, it's lovely. It's coming just the right
How
direction.
does Stormbird look?
With his eyes. And
Thank you.
that's all right. I'm so old. The wind's coming in just the right direction. It's hitting the pipework on the flat. And I get this beautiful radiophonic sounding noise. It's gentle, but it's lovely. And I got a problem with noises like that. It's a bit similar to old washing machines and the Sea Devils, oddly enough. I can fall asleep to it. It's the music. It's absolutely lovely. So that was my fortnight. So, yeah.
Oh, and I forgot one important thing.
Yes, please.
I upgraded my computer to Windows 11.
Ah, yes. And how are you finding it? Tell the people.
It's not bad. It
Yeah.
takes a little bit to tame, but they all do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically Windows 10.
Fair enough. I'm happy with that. Retta, I too love the sound of rain at night, as indeed does John Sheridan. See, still a sad fan. Still a sad fan at heart. Ah, dear. They're
Remember,
releasing
only Sheridan can go to.
a drastically cut down, colorized version of the War Games.
I've heard interesting things about this.
Now, I'll explain what it is for the people, and then. So they're cutting down a 10-25 minute episode story.
Mm-hmm.
I've got that the wrong way around, but you know what I mean. Cutting it from 10 episodes down to a 90-minute compilation.
Yes.
That's going to be interesting. I mean, yes, War Games can be seen to be long-winded, but at the same time, personally, I love it. I don't care about it being long-winded. I really enjoy it. So the problem I've got going into this is I remember what they did to the Daleks.
Mm-hmm. That
That was awful. That really, it was an abomination, quite frankly. And I'm sorry the people behind it, but it really was. You got it wrong. And I'm worried it's going to be the same with the War Games. That's my problem. The trailer looks good. The colouring looks fine. It's just going to be interesting to see how it's edited and... Yeah, basically. Please be better than the Daleks is what I'm hoping. Because it really was terrible. So fingers crossed.
Yes. Well, there is a lot of running back and forth in the War Game.
There is. I mean, it's very interesting. The Malcolm Holt novelisation. Oh, thank you very much. Already? Again? No idea what that means.
Been a while since I hit the buttons.
I don't know why I'm holding my hands like this.
book,
Book.
Malcolm Hulk.
Malcolm Hulk, thank you, Lilibet. I'm going to have to employ you as my personal memory. Yeah, the
Somebody's
book
gotta do it.
is actually very thin. You'd think a 10-part Doctor Who story would actually come out quite thick. I mean, when they did the Daleks Master Plan, it had to be in 2 volumes, and that's only 2 episodes longer. You know, when they did Trial of a Time Lord, that was 4 books. So, yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lot of running back and forth that could be they go somewhere. It could be one sentence.
Yeah.
It's 2 or 3 minutes.
But the book is
of
still
screen
engaging,
time.
which is good. As well, I think, was it Malcolm Hulk's last book? I can't remember. Because, of course, he wrote the screenplay along with Terence Dicks. War Games is a very hugely important Doctor Who story. And it's a case of, well, so is the Daleks, and it's a case of be careful what you're treading on, please. So I have to wait and see. I look forward to seeing it, and I'm hopeful. I'm also a bit scared. It's a bit like now when you watch New Doctor Who. Ever since 1985, you're constantly scared it's not going to be good enough, so it's the show will get cancelled. And I'll come back to that when we start talking about Doctor Who, which will be very soon. Look at me. I'm making sense. Brian, what?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I
right.
didn't say anything.
Okay, right.
I'm fine.
He's learning to perform for the podcast
fine
audience. Ah, dear. What do we got? What else? That's the news. Oh, birthday presents.
Yes,
I
you had a
got birthday
did you
presents. I
not?
had a birthday, yes. Didn't get my annual steak.
Oh,
Oh,
I only have one steak a year, and that's my birthday meal. But
well,
sad.
now you can have one later.
No, there's no point.
Perhaps a Christmas steak.
No. I'm not going to go out and have a steak on my own for Christmas.
not?
The whole point of the birthday steak is I'm surrounded by friends. And I got
Well,
people
yeah.
I
All the
love.
friends for Christmas.
It's tricky at Christmas trying to get a restaurant reservation. That's hard to say. It'll do me good. It'll do my wallet good. So instead I had a birthday doner kebab.
going to interpret that as Dave being an influence on you.
I
Because he did like a kebab.
Oh, a good doner kebab. Yeah, there's no polite way of eating it. It is Klingon food.
Yes.
It is Klingon
A
food. You
disgusting
just
mess.
go
On
into it
stick.
and go for it. Yeah. That's the closest thing I can think of to Klingon food. Quick sip of hot chocolate. But
Any
Adam got me.
alcohol in there?
No, I don't drink, remember?
Would you like to have alcohol in
I
there?
wouldn't mind a little bit of Bailey's in there.
I have a bunch. I mean, I did a refresh.
Just for the record, I don't drink because I have a problem with alcohol. I just don't like it. My cousin a couple of years ago introduced me to putting Bailey's in hot chocolate. Bailey's Irish cream in there. Oh,
That's good.
that's lovely. I just wish I liked drinking because I'd enjoy it.
Put butterscotch schnapps in it. You'll love it.
Ah, dear. Forgotten what I was going to say.
So,
Doctor Who.
Donna Kebab birthday presents.
Presents. Thank you, Lilibet. You see? This is working.
You are such a good memory.
Yeah, man.
Well, see, you say that, but I have to have a system for where my keys go because otherwise that's the end of that.
Well, everything with me is a
Yeah, it's
routine.
gotta be
Never
a
leave my
system.
pocket.
Yes.
That's,
Which is why
that's
I
where they
always
go.
turn up at 7:30. Not a couple of minutes before, but 7:30. Like you said in the message, so you didn't have to get grumpy with
Which
me.
also said, please be on earlier if you can.
And I couldn't.
Well, that's your fucking problem.
Well, no, not really. Oh dear.
No, with the computer I had being redone,
You were
had
grumpy
to
last night.
I lost all our OBS.
Yeah.
scene.
no.
It's fine.
It's
fine.
a typical reinstall, isn't it? You got to
Yeah,
redo
I
everything.
just had to recreate the scenes.
So deeply annoying. I do like now that when you get a new phone, you can transfer everything over from the old
Oh, yeah.
phone
That is
and
nice.
and not have to start from scratch with everything.
Well, I kind of also got a new hard drive in there, so I wasn't going to keep the settings anyway, and I'm okay with that.
Fair enough. Retta's written why, but I don't know what she's questioning. So I'll let her explain whilst I carry on talking. That's a good idea,
So
don't you think?
presents.
Presents, yes. Adam got me a
Presents.
couple of books. Got me the latest Rivers of London novella, Masquerades of
Excellent.
Spring, which I've finished.
Oh, good. Okay.
Oh, I devoured that. I really devoured that book. I love the whole Peter Grant Rivers of London stuff by Ben Aranovich.
And that's very PG. That's Aronovich does PG Woodhouse.
It is.
That's what.
Oh, very
Masquerades
much
of Spring
so.
is.
I mean, yeah. And I love that the back of the novella, there's fake adverts for the adventures of Gussie and Beauregard. You know?
See, I haven't seen that because I read it on audio, so I haven't seen the fake
You
adventure.
listened to it on audio, did you?
Yes.
Okay. None of this
You
reading
do know.
nonsense.
No. I will not be having with that. It lights up the same part of your brain when you're listening to stories as it does when you're reading.
No, it's still listening to a story. I'm going to be old and grumpy on this.
You can be old and
I'm
grumpy,
going to be
but
old
you're
and grumpy
wrong.
on this.
Carry on.
I am. And Retta, why could I not know earlier to help? I've told you this enough times, all of you. It's very difficult for me to get back home in time. I have things to do on Saturdays. It's can't be helped. Right. Yes, that was one of them. The other one was a left field choice, and I'm very glad for it. It's the latest George Smiley novel, written by John le Carré's son.
Oh, interesting.
And it fills the gap, I think, between Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy and Smiley's People. I'm having to look. I've only just started reading it. I've got some Le Carré, but I don't have Tinker Tailor, Honourable Schoolboy, and Smiley's People. I need to get hold of them. But so I've just started reading this, and I am enjoying it. It's a very different flavour to Aranovich. It's amazing. Aranovich is almost joyful in some of the stuff he writes.
Oh, yeah.
This, you can feel the layer of grime on London. You know, it's... Yeah. So I'm very much enjoying that. And like I say, completely out of left field. But loved it.
If
Absolutely
you
loved
can
it.
get your hands, and you can probably get copies from the library or electronic copies, the Murderbot Diaries. It's a series of novellas, and then there's a couple of actual novels. The novellas are about 3 or 4 hours on audio, so they don't take much time at all.
To listen
by Martha Wells. But they're books too. But they're really, really good. It's hard sci-fi,
That's not my scene, I'm afraid.
but it is really character oriented. So the world building is hard sci-fi, but the character, like the story, is character oriented. And the main character, without giving much away because this is in the first opening things, the main character is a construct. So it's a human, cloned human plus robotics, android type thing. That really is essentially enslaved, and that becomes part of the story as a security robot, but really just wants to watch TV all day.
But we all...
Yeah. So, and really grows through their understanding of media to become a more interesting and well-rounded and fulfilled character who then can take action in their own life and stuff happens. But it's all first-person narration through Murderbot's POV. And Murderbot has no gender and no interest in gender. So it's really very interesting how that just, like, other characters are interested in it, but the narrator is completely uninterested. It's very good. It's very good and well written.
That's today's English teacher recommendation, boys and girls. Oh dear. Totally forgotten what I was going to say. Okay, let's do what we came here for. Look at me. I'm looking for the right thing. Here it is. I found it. Dear, that's the trouble with doing this live. And now, from the worlds of BBC Television's Doctor Who, it's Doctor Who. Happy birthday. Hang on. Working this one out. Bear with me. A Doctor Who and their plucky girl assistants Graham, Ryan, and Yaz land at the Villa on Lake Geneva on a very important evening. This is the evening that sparked Mary Shelley to create Frankenstein. Probably the very first original horror book. Possibly sci-fi, but certainly horror.
No, it's sci-fi.
It's sci-fi.
Yeah, you want to go sci-fi rather than horror? In that
It's
case, I
science
will sit.
fiction horror.
No,
Yeah.
I will happily sit back and be corrected on that. I knew it was one of those two.
And Jules
It's a really
Verne
important.
was only like 9 at the time.
And who? Sorry.
Jules Verne.
Yeah. He grew up. Anyway, and basically, Lord Byron, Mad, Bad, and Dangerous to Know, has got his friends over, Dr. Polyakov.
Polidori.
Thank you very much.
Polidori.
Polidori, who has connections to the River of London because he gets referenced all the time.
Yes. Yes. Now you've said that. Yes.
It's the same Polidori.
Mary Shelley,
Her husband, Mr. Shelley.
who's missing. And
Percy B. missing.
yeah, and a young lady whose name escapes me. But basically,
Mary's sister.
yeah, Byron's just toying with her and being a complete and utter asshole, quite frankly.
Byron doesn't want to subscribe. He just wants the trial.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Yes, I'd agree with that. And things are going bump in the night.
You may have to, clarify that a little bit more considering we're talking about Byron.
Yeah, all right. There's a skeletal hand just running around everywhere.
Yeah.
Things, including Byron, are going bump in the
Bump
night.
in the
No,
night.
Byron is
things.
trying to go bump in the night. Everything else is going bump in the night around him.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
dear. It's the haunting of Villa Diodati. I think that's how you say it. It's the one where Ashad, the lone Cyberman, turns up. I watched it last night. Now, going back to what I was saying about cancellation and what have you. I really enjoyed this last night. Now, I did enjoy it on broadcast. I haven't seen it since. And the difference in watching it in broadcast compared to a few years down the line, all the unconscious stress and anxiety about it not being good enough to continue the show, it's gone. I was relaxed and I really, really enjoyed this last night. It was, I wouldn't say it was joyous, but it was good. It was haunting. It was creepy. Ashad is superb. What an idea for a villain. and how well played. Yeah. No, absolutely adore this, and that's all I've got to say. Please, the rest of you. The rest of you. Yeah, both of you at once now. Brian!
All right.
Oh, hang on a second. Hang on, we've got... No, I'm sorry, Brian. We've got a new first-time chat. It's Polar Nights, which is a nice name. I like that name, Polar Nights. It's a good name. This is nice. I see 3 new Doctor Who's. Well, I'm the first Doctor. I don't know about the other 2.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, I
I'm
can
not
lay
allowed
claim
to
to
say.
that. I think I've earned that title. Anyway, but it's lovely to see you, Polar Nights. You're very welcome. Just so you know, this will be a podcast as well. Brian, sorry to interrupt you. Please carry on.
No, it's fine. This actually stood out from the usual mix of Jodie's tenure. It seemed like the writers actually were dialed in on this one. Because for a lot of the 3 seasons Jodie was the Doctor, they didn't seem like really they knew how to write Doctor Who or knew what to write.
That was we've always said that has been the problem with the Jodie
Yeah.
era,
Yes.
the writing.
Yeah, the writers. But no, this one was dialed in. This one was good. I love it how at the end she goes on this, look, this isn't a democracy. Because at some point in time, I need to make a decision.
Yeah.
And it always comes down to me.
And not only does it always come down to her, she compares it to a mountain, and she's way up there at the summit in the clouds, seeing this whole
Seeing
picture.
the whole picture, yeah. It's a nice
and
description
being
of the
ultimately
Doctor.
responsible
Yes.
for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Very much.
And as much as her human companions kind of humanize the Doctor, and it's why the Doctor needs the human companions,
Yes.
so that they get a more grounded view and aren't the lonely god. Yeah, it was a good, and I think it's a good moment for the Doctor
Oh,
to
yeah.
be able to say,
She needed a moment, quite frankly, Jodie did.
Yes. Yeah.
And they
She
finally
needed
gave
her
it
I
to
am
her.
the Doctor moment.
Yeah, they finally
yes,
gave it to her.
yes. I also agree that the writing on this is pretty tight. I have some complaints about the end.
Okay.
But I think the writing was dialed in. It's properly creepy. It's very atmospheric. The idea of I think they're playing on things that work in Doctor Who and have worked before. Ah, your Void is back.
My Void has returned. Hello, Void.
Hello, darkness,
my old friend. Hello, Chestnut.
Please feed me tuna again. The idea of things behaving
making a
like they do
cigarette.
in dreams. So that they walk out of one room or they walk through one room and they say, "What? How did we get here?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't go down the stairs. How are we here?" I think that works really, really well. It's also playing with a lot of ghost story ideas and things like that. And properly, they played with a lot of proper ghost story stuff where for a second you see the ghost in the background, and then the character turns around or the flash happens and then
Yeah.
they're gone.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
that
good old
works
trope. It
really
works really. We had similar sort of stuff in Hyde that we were discussing last time round.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this works so much better.
Yes.
Very quickly, Polar Knights has said it makes sense the Doctor mostly has female companions from the UK as they so mellow and calm. Have you met Donna Noble? Please carry on a little bit.
Yeah. Well, are you referring to the Doctor being mellow and calm or the women from the UK being mellow and calm?
Have you met the Sixth Doctor?
Just saying.
I like one of the things that I
Yes,
think really
please.
works with Ashad. One, he works thematically.
Yes, of
Because
course.
this
Yes.
is Mary Shelley,
It's
Frankenstein.
modern. She says a modern Prometheus, doesn't she?
Yes.
Oh yeah, she basically describes Frankenstein when she's describing him.
Yes. And it's also a nice counter example because in Frankenstein, the monster would not probably have been a monster except for the neglect of Frankenstein.
Yes.
Frankenstein gets scared by what he's created and he runs off and he doesn't take responsibility, and the monster wreaks havoc. And all it receives is fear, so therefore all it knows is fear,
Yeah.
and it reacts with fear.
It's like
Yeah.
a child, basically.
Yes. But also with deliberate violence. It is not a hero. However,
Anti-hero?
here, no, not even.
Not even?
It's as
Okay.
bad as Frankenstein himself, right? They're really both egotists. Both of whom say poor me, poor me, poor me, poor me, instead of saying, I did this is my responsibility. The monster blames all of his actions on Frankenstein's neglect. Frankenstein's blames all of the monsters, all of the terrible things that happen on the monster instead of taking responsibility for any of his business.
Yeah.
Anyway, but both of them are understandably human. And when Mary Shelley here confronts Ashad and says, I see sadness, you were a father, that's why you saved my son, did you have children, what happened to them? And you think for a minute in very Doctor Who fashion that she's done it.
It was
She's
too
cracked
obvious,
it.
wasn't it, though? It just felt too obvious. This isn't going to work. It's too bang on the nose.
Well, see, I think
That
in
particular
another
scene,
episode,
what Mary was trying to do, in another episode, that would work. But in this episode, it's too bang on. It's a case of, no, this is too obvious. This is not going out there how they're going to end it.
well, and then no, they couldn't. When he says he slit his children's throats,
Yeah.
you go, oh, we're dealing with a character who was evil before he was a Cyberman.
Well, Cybermen aren't evil. It's their programming.
Yeah, well,
It's the same with the
they are,
Daleks.
though.
Basically, she's
They are.
dealing
Daleks-
with an actual monster at that
Right.
point.
He was a monster.
Oh, yeah, no. He was a psychopath when he was a human. And
Right. So, so he isn't just following programming. He's making active choices.
Oh, very much so, yes. He's enjoying every second of it.
yes.
He
Except for being
is...
struck by lightning bit.
He's religious. He's not an evangelical, but he's a religious extremist when it comes to the cyber stuff. His conversion failed, and that's his perfection. And yet it's odd when you look at the next two episodes, when he gets the chance to do something about it, he doesn't.
Okay, that's where I think that this ending falls down, and I blame a lot of the writing in Whittaker's seasons.
Okay, yeah, go on.
Not knowing how to follow through. Not knowing how to do a third act properly. This one has a decent third act. It's a little truncated because they, as with many of the episodes in her seasons, they do fantastic build-up. They spent a lot of time on the build-up, which is great.
But they
Same
always come in
complaint we're
for a
gonna get-
Jingles landing at the end.
Yeah, when we get to Abbott, I'm going to have the same complaint. Great build-up, great atmosphere, strong establishment, good characters, and then it's over so quickly. The Percy being the ghost thing was good. The unexplained ghost thing is good. I'm happy with that. The cyber whatever, Darlictanium magic
Cyberium.
cyber stuff.
The Siberium.
Siberium.
Barium. Yeah.
It's
Sure.
essentially
sure.
an evolution of the cyber controller, the cyber planner.
It's a MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I wish that it had been a little bit more established earlier.
Well, that was the mystery, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is the mystery, but I don't necessarily need to know. But I need to know that there is a thing.
A thing.
You know, that there is a MacGuffin.
Yeah. It would be
'Cause then
nice
you're
if we
looking
knew a
for
little bit earlier. But they were too busy sorting out what's going on with the house.
Right. And I actually kind of wish that the answer wasn't, although thematically the Cybermen work great. I actually wish that the answer wasn't Cybermen. I actually wish that the answer was something with the house and that the Cybermen were kind of secondary. That they were attracted here because there was something going on with the house that they wanted. And not that the Cybermen created the thing. Because I think that would be more interesting.
Interesting.
But and I think my other problem with this is you can't just show this episode. You have to then watch the next one, and the next one isn't as good.
That's fair.
Again, going back to what I was saying about actually relaxing and enjoying it, I went straight on and watched Fugitive of the Judoon afterwards.
Did you?
Because that ties in with our big finish this week as well. And I really, really enjoyed that. I mean, I enjoyed that on transmission, but again, with that little Captain Paranoia on the shoulder, you know? So
That's
I think I need to go
because-
back and revisit Jodie's era a little bit.
I actually did late last week watched for the first time Jodie's final episode because I'd never seen it.
Oh, sweetheart.
Oh.
Well, because it was the week
Yeah,
Dave went into
it
the
was too
hospital.
raw. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
It was it wasn't good timing, and then it was too raw, and then the themes of it were not helpful, and
No.
I did cry through the last third of it.
Oh, my sweet.
But it was good. I wasn't like, oh, I can't watch this, I have to turn it off. I was like, oh, okay, I'm emotionally engaged.
Are
with the
you
material.
okay to give us a quick review?
Oh yeah, sure.
All right, please
Um,
do. I'd love to hear your
it's-
thoughts on this.
I think the reason I went back to watch it is because I got the season 25 collection.
Yes.
And Sophie's interview on that talks about the work she did on the
I'm
episode
really
with
enjoying
Jodie.
those Matthew Sweet interviews.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
He's a good interviewer. He gives his subjects
He
room to
gets
talk.
respect from Tom. So that's an achievement, quite frankly.
Yes.
I'm sorry, please continue. Power of the Doctor.
So
A
I was
Doctor
very
Who.
interested.
A Doctor Who has been getting a load of distress messages. Because the moon's turned up, another planet's turned up over Russia in, I don't know, back in the
Yeah,
19
so things
something or
were
other.
happening.
Yeah,
things were
it was
happening.
mad.
The Cybermen turned up.
They're everywhere.
I was a little disappointed that the secondary planet wasn't Mondas. That it was
Mondas.
sure.
Okay.
Whatever.
wasn't
You're
that
the
either,
English
so
teacher.
it
Get
doesn't
the
matter.
pronunciation correct, please.
Gonna
get hit.
Mondai. I shall pluralize it as there have been several.
Mondasi?
No, anyway, there's only
that-
one.
Mondai. Yeah. So
It's going to be a long night.
I enjoyed watching it more than I thought I would because I really went to watch it going, okay, I want to see the old companions. I'd heard, spoilery stuff, which I don't mind. I don't care about spoilers for me. So I knew old companions were coming back, and obviously I'd seen
Plus,
the
to be
interviews.
fair, after this amount of time, it would have been almost impossible not to be spoiled.
Yeah, and it just
Yeah.
doesn't. I don't care about spoilers. I'd
Yeah.
rather know who dies because then I don't get emotionally invested.
That's great. I like that.
Yeah, I don't want to get emotionally invested and have you kill off a character I care about. Let me know, and then I will just not care about them. Sorry, are you all right?
Remember, if you die, we get 50 plus 50 viewers.
That's true. Make a fortune out of this video. Idiot
Um,
dies
We'll
on
clip
stream.
it and it'll go out on YouTube.
Oh dear.
So
That made me laugh.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I do think it had some of the writing problems. And it had the typical writing problems of an anniversary episode, which is that there was too much happening.
Oh, well, yeah, you see, this was the 100th anniversary of the BBC. It wasn't meant to be. But the BBC suddenly said, we'll have that as the 100th anniversary. She can regenerate then. You'll have to write Legend and films Legend of the Sea Devils now very quickly. That's how that happened. It's true.
But I enjoyed revisiting the old companions. I enjoyed seeing Jodie and Jodie's doctor take it very seriously, but also face regeneration.
There was a certain joy. There was a sad joy to it, wasn't there?
Yes. Yeah, there was a there's the horror of a forced regeneration.
Yes.
And the master completely misunderstanding the doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Even after all these years, the master does not understand the doctor.
It's because he's a loony.
It's because I think he cannot comprehend essentially choosing good when you know evil exists.
I think it's
I think
because
you
he
need
likes
to write
the
a
song
fancy-
Rah Rah Rasputin.
There is Rah Rah Rasputin, to be fair. The Doctor doesn't get
you
to
give-
dance very often. The Master
No.
seems to. It's
You give him a theme song, he's quite happy to dance
yeah.
to it.
You need to write a fanzine article about this.
In my vast amounts of free time.
Yes, that's the one.
That's it.
The Doctor is a practical optimist. The Doctor is aware that evil exists and that things destroy other things. And the Doctor consistently chooses to try and save what they can.
Mhm.
To try and create positivity,
That-
to try and
Last speech from Capaldi to the Masters.
yes.
I do what I do, just because it's right. So
Because
I say that
it's
just a
right.
few people, at least I've tried.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the master cannot comprehend. That is the key difference between the two of them. The master cannot comprehend that choice. He knows evil exists. Why would you not pick power? The master's going to pick power every single time.
See, that's why I don't understand. It's similar with Davros. I said this years ago on
It's never worked out for him, but he's going to make the same choice.
Exactly. I think it was a review of the Juggernauts. It was either a review on the Blade or on the WhoCast. And I basically said, Davros is just repeating a failed premise. He's just doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. And it's the same with the Master.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Uh-huh.
there
Yeah.
is a fundamental flaw there.
Yeah, curse is sudden and inevitable betrayal.
Yes, exactly.
Except in that episode, he doesn't betray the Cybermen and the Daleks. Like, he doesn't care about them.
No.
He's using them.
I'm still
But-
trying to work out how he managed to get that little combination going. Not so much from the Cyberman point of view, because he controls the Cybermen. It's the Daleks. How the hell did he get the Daleks involved in that?
Because the Cybermen do one thing better than the Daleks.
They die.
They die easier.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm done. Good
Okay.
night.
You can tell he got the booze in today, can't you? He got
But
the bathtub
I did
full of gin.
enjoy it. I liked that that was kind of the start of Kate getting companions involved. And I also liked that the companions, we had this a little bit with Sarah's return
hmm
back with Tennant, but the companions are completely changed
They're adults.
after they travel with the Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're forever changed, and they know that there's more out there, and now they're living on Earth, and what do they do about it? And they've learned from the Doctor this ethos of you do what you can when you see injustice. You do what you can when you see...
Look what Donna did without
Tragedy.
realising, but with her money.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I think it's a possibly not so subtle message to the fans. We have also traveled with the Doctor. We need to have internalized these messages as well.
Hi. I've been brainwashed by it, I'm afraid. I accept no responsibility. I'm about to have my leg clawed. Hello, Chestnut.
Oh no!
Stopped him. I got there just in time. He made the fateful mistake of just testing first. And I felt it. Where have you gone now? Are you over there?
So yeah, I enjoyed it, and I did.
Did you enjoy the other Doctors?
I did, and I did cry through the last third of it.
I loved the McCoy Ace bit. Dave would have just.
Yeah.
It was exactly what was needed.
Yes.
Closure.
Yes. And I love Tegan's bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Tegan has always been angry.
Yes, she has.
Justifiably, but angry.
She's Lucy from Charlie Brown, as she herself says. Not, I mean, Janet Fielding rather than Tegan. Tegan.
And this gives some expression to that. And Kate gets a great moment in it. And the Doctor gets the proper goodbye. It isn't a forced regeneration.
No, and it's not a toy of every... All right, it is a toy of every single companion, but not, let's stop everything now and go and visit one each individually. They come in naturally through the plot, rather than...
Yes, but I like that what she chooses to do is go see a sunrise.
I honestly think, and I love the Logopolis. I love the Logopolis regeneration. Always been my favourite, but this is beautiful. They knew what they were doing there. We're going to make the most beautiful regeneration we can. Mm-hmm. How fitting.
Yeah,
what a lovely
it's
gift
really
to
lovely.
Jodie. Quite frankly, it's beautiful. Did you join in with the Watts at the end?
No.
What?
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 I did have a question how the clothes regenerated.
But that's happened before. That's happened. That's precedent was set on the first regeneration with that. Hartnell's clothes turned into Troughton's. And
I like
then...
how the Doctor
power
recognized
of the
his old
suit is
teeth.
just too much.
It's it. Tom Baker's boots turned into the socks, the Argyle socks, and the shoes when he became Peter Davison. That was a mistake by costuming, but it happened, and therefore the Doctor's clothes changing when they regenerate is legit canon. I have no life.
My favorite part is the Doctor knowing he's gone back to David Tennant just by recognizing his teeth from the inside.
It was obvious, wasn't it? And the ending perfectly bookends that, because his last words, technically, as the 14th Doctor, is "Allons-y," and of course that means "let's go," rather than "I don't want to go."
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So that was nice. That was nicely thought.
And I think it does mirror Jodie, because Jodie's, she was forced to regenerate into the Master. Then she becomes herself again, and then almost immediately has to regenerate. But has the time to come to terms with it. Her first reaction is, I want more time.
Yeah.
But then she comes, which is perfectly natural and understandable, but then comes to terms with it.
How much of that do you think is to make it easier for Yaz?
Some maybe, but she has those moments by herself.
Yeah.
And she does the regeneration by herself. She says, I'm going to need to do this next part alone.
Capaldi said the same as well, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's. I have a lot of issues with the writing throughout this whole.
Should I try and get Chibnall on for an interview?
Go for it. Do it.
My problem is third acts. They're badly written.
Quiz him about his third act ability.
It is so tempting, but I honestly couldn't be that rude.
No.
No.
Unlike him on Open Air back in the 80s. I say nothing. I don't know if you're aware of that, are you, Brian?
No.
There was a programme called Open Air on BBC lunchtimes in the 80s. And it was basically a look at television that had been broadcast and people's views and everything. And they had a look at Doctor Who, the latest Doctor Who. And Chibnall was part of the audience. And he let rip. A very young, spotty Chibnall.
Nice.
Yeah.
We
It was
have
quite
all
funny.
done embarrassing
Christ,
damn
haven't
things
we?
as teenagers.
Oh, good Lord, haven't we just... Actually, I was very good on the Library of Impossible Things. I didn't really tell any embarrassing stories. I was rather good. I filtered it. But yes, a little bit. Oh, Christ, yes.
Wait. No, and there is no proof. Because cell phones weren't a thing then.
Right, so, saying all that,
Yes.
what did you think of The Haunting of Villa Diodati?
We're just going the long way round.
I love the
That's
fact
all.
that
That's all.
both your
Off
microphones...
and tangent, but we circle back.
Both your microphones cut out. They couldn't handle the noises you were making.
I like Villa Diodati. I think I wish that they had. I think I want 10 more minutes at the end.
For what purpose?
Because the setup, the storytelling curve, right?
Mhm.
And then the exposition, rising action, falling action, resolution. We have too much, not too much because it's bad, but proportionally. Too much rising action and exposition, not enough falling action and resolution.
Okay.
I
You
think
wanted
that...
to see Byron get slapped, didn't you?
Oh, Byron deserved it. One of my favorite
much
parts
so.
is where she says, the spell has worn off.
Yeah.
The spell is broken.
Mrs.
Yeah.
Doctor
Yep.
did that.
Yes.
Mrs. Doctor. I love that.
And it's great. I think that's the other thing. They used Jodie's doctor and her personality really well here. Because Byron's hitting on her left, right, and center, and she just has no time for it.
The thing is, she realises, which the Doctor in the past might not have done, she realises, and like you say, slamming him straight down and having none of it.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Well,
And
that was one of the ground rules going in with the group. Don't snog Byron.
yeah,
Don't mention Frankenstein.
I mentioned it once. I think I got away with it.
Hmm.
Not when I'm drinking hot chocolate. Oh, God.
You okay?
I don't know.
We win. She snarfed.
Oh, dear. I'm going to have to blow my nose at some stage. Anyway. Okay. Brian, thumbs up, down.
Oh, thumbs up.
Oh, cool. This is good. This is a good one. Yeah, we enjoyed The Haunting of Villa Diodati and apparently Power of the Daleks. Power of the Doctor.
Power of the Doctor as well.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I get confused.
Retroactively.
It's age. All right,
We'll
we're going
get
to move
it
on.
again.
Brian, you can go off and do other things now.
Oh, good.
Big Finish.
Yes.
Big Finish. We were on a very short deadline for this because it only got released this Friday, 2 days ago. And the fact that both Lilibet and I have managed to listen to it is quite impressive, to be honest. More so in Lilibet's point, because I do nothing all day.
I listened
Right.
while I was changing sheets and doing laundry.
Okay. I'm going to try and get this right.
You wild woman.
You know how to live. That's all I'm saying. Okay. The War Doctor is attacked. The degeneration mystery has been solved. This is following on from the rest of Once and Future. He says goodbye to River. He says goodbye to Susan, who were in the last Once and Future thingy. Gets into the TARDIS, and straight away, someone's out to time ram his TARDIS. And a message comes over. It's the fugitive Doctor. No. Yes. It is Joe Martin's first foray into Big Finish. And we have the fugitive doctor, and they treat her superbly in this. They
Yes.
really do. In fact, they treat both of them very, very well. I was very impressed by this story. It has, for something that's supposed to be a celebration, it got the imagery, the Doctor Who style imagery, spot on. Where you've got, on an alien planet, floating, a Tudor galleon ship, a Tudor army facing off against an army of Vord, alien Vord at that, and above them a huge energy snake, which is the Ouroboros. If that
and
is...
also a jelly monster.
And a jelly monster. Yes, I forgot the jelly monster. If that isn't Doctor Who in a nutshell, what is? We can't give too much away because it is so recent. It's only 2 days old. So we've got to be careful here. The Future Doctor has left Division, but has been set against the War Doctor. Someone is playing games. We're not sure who. So you basically have this thing, because if you're going to go up, if the Fugitive Doctor is going to go up against any, it would either be the Seventh Doctor or the War Doctor. The Seventh Doctor would probably have already come up with a trap for her, knowing that she was going to fall into it. But the War Doctor, he's the one who broke the promise. So those two going up against each other, and the War Doctor does do some very surprising things in this, which you put down to him. Well, that's the War Doctor. He does this sort of thing. No.
Okay, I have to say, because I won't say only half paying attention. I was paying
You
attention.
were folding
but
sheets.
I was taking sheets off beds, putting new sheets on beds. Yes.
Righty-ho.
So I was doing things and maybe not giving it my full attention. And I knew. Do you know sometimes you get told something and you know something, but your brain decides
quite
that
click
it doesn't know?
Yeah.
I was told Fugitive Doctor plus War Doctor. My brain, as I'm listening, interprets War Doctor as Master. And until I got about
fascinating.
halfway through, and I think it's some of the accent he was doing as well, until I got about halfway through, my brain, and this is a me problem, not a story problem, my brain was interpreting it as Fugitive Doctor versus Master.
Fascinating.
And it works until it doesn't. Let's put it that way. But there was very much that, again, as you said, this is new. I don't want to give anything away. But this is very early in the plot. There's a lot of measure, countermeasure
Yep.
happening.
Chess
I
is
set a
happening.
trap.
Yep.
I broke out of the trap. I have a new trap. I broke out of the trap. I have a new trap, kind of thing.
Yep.
Aha! But what you didn't realize was...
So we're
kind
close to fatal death.
Yes.
Yes.
And that was delightful. But it absolutely read to me like the Third Doctor's master.
That's fascinating.
And so, who maybe had something weird going on with memory.
And accent.
And, yeah.
That was John Hurt. I will take nothing away from Jonathan Carley. That's John Hurt.
No, it's not his
1984.
fault. 100%, this is a me thing.
As it should be.
But that's what I was interpreting it as.
It's
Until
fascinating,
I realized
Lilibet. What
that
clicked?
it
What was the
wasn't
moment that
that.
clicked? What was the moment that clicked it?
Trying to think, what was the moment that clicked it? I think it was quite late. I think it's when the War Doctor says something like, I am making rash decisions.
Yeah.
This is unlike me.
Yeah. But saying no more.
And has that realization.
Yep.
And I went, actually, this is completely like you. What are you talking about? And then I went, wait.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm
Information.
hearing the screech of the tires right now.
Wait, what? Oh, that makes more sense. And then the ending makes more sense. But it was quite late in the hour. It was probably half an hour into the story before I clocked that my brain had completely misinterpreted the situation.
Oh, that's wonderful. I mean, I do not laugh at you for that. I laugh with you for that. Just lovely.
It is very funny.
Yeah.
It surprisingly, until you get about halfway in, that interpretation completely works.
It does. It does. Is this the master pretending to be the war doctor?
It's very spy versus spy.
Yes, very much so.
Two characters who know each other, don't realize they know each other, but do know each other so well that they can anticipate what their adversary is going to do.
Yeah.
And attempt to react to it. And of course, it's time travelers, so they're going to react to it in the Curse of Fatal Death manner of, I went to the past and bribed him more. It's that kind of thing.
There is one thing I am going to spoil. In this story, we do get a Doctor Who companion.
We do.
Professor Lenny Summerfield.
Oh, praise Lenny!
Yeah. The fugitive doctor mishears her or just doesn't care and just starts calling her Lenny. Then the Vord start calling her Lenny. That's it. It's now Lenny Summerfield.
And there is a really nice... Because the fugitive doctor doesn't know she's the doctor.
She doesn't know she's that doctor. She thinks she's her doctor. Yeah. It's a bit tricky, isn't it?
Yes. And so she's not our doctor.
No.
Yeah.
So she does things like walk in with a gun.
Yep.
Not really care about her companions. Like saying, why are you even traveling with me? What is your deal? Why would you pick to do this? Why are you complaining? You picked this. All the... and frequently
Fair question.
Yeah.
Frequently
Most companions don't do that.
Sending Lenny off to figure stuff out. X is a problem. I'm dealing with problem Y. You go figure out problem X. And Lenny going, but how am I supposed to figure it? I don't know, figure it out.
Yeah.
And she does.
What figure it out means.
Yeah. But normally, the doctor sends the companion off to do something and tells them how to do it.
Yeah. It's going to be fascinating listening to the Fugitive Doctor box set that's coming out soon. I'm really looking forward to it. Did they treat the Fugitive Doctor well?
I think so.
We don't have much to go on, to be fair.
It feels like the Fugitive Doctor. Her performance feels like the television performance.
And is every other incarnation of the Doctor going to have a problem with her shirt?
Probably.
Jodie did. And
Yes.
apparently so did the War Doctor.
Yes. Well, they always do. And there is a line, again, not giving anything away, but where they say, like, can we set aside the traditional bickering
Yes.
and do this thing? And I did like, because I was thinking, TikTok. This thing's only an hour.
Yeah, and he hasn't pulled the latex mask off his face yet.
Right. Where are the daffodils?
I love daffodils. Sorry.
This was a good one. I had listened to we have done some of the Once and Future. We haven't done all of them, or I didn't listen to all of them.
You didn't, but I did. Oh, Christ, did I?
And there was some stuff in here where I was like, oh, okay, obviously that was an episode I missed. But as long as you can understand the whole degeneration thing, you're kind of fine.
I thought that was a little bit weird. The whole reality still changing around me because of the generation reigns. Goes, well, how? How is that? How are you altering reality? That wasn't explained.
No.
And it didn't seem to have much bearing. It seemed like just a MacGuffin to get him out of there. It's a case of, I've got to go.
So that they
I can't stay. I've got to
mention,
go. Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same issue with all the doctors meeting themselves.
Yeah,
that they
it's
never
also-
remember that they
yeah,
did.
We had temporal fading.
Yeah.
That
So
was
they neither of them are going to remember.
Did you
this.
enjoy it?
I did enjoy it.
So did I. So did I.
Well, I did too.
Oh, Brian, that's lovely. It's not like you can't listen to them, Brian. You get the link as well.
Uh-huh.
Just saying.
Uh-huh.
Okay. We've had two really good things. We've got something amusing, and then it's going to go a little bit downhill, and I do apologise. So, Lilibet,
Yes,
we watched
we did.
the Abbott, the Treasure of Abbott Thomas, the M.R.
Yes.
James ghost story. We watched that because it's the ghost story that was shown on BBC Two, so it was a television program. Brian, did
Yeah.
you watch that?
I watched whatever I put in chat.
And what was that, Brian?
That apparently was some guy reading the treasure.
And how long did you last?
About 10 minutes. I was out like a light. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. No, I probably lasted longer than 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes was the last time I checked it before I was out.
There's always something. We always fuck something up. I don't think it would be us if we didn't.
Probably this is better as a short story than it was as a film.
I suspect so. Let's do this. It's an M.R. James ghost story. It was done for Christmas back in the 70s. It's available on the BFI Ghost Stories.
Yeah,
Box
and that's
set.
where I watched it.
A young man is not very happy. He's a lord, actually. Isn't very happy that his mother is basically giving complete free passage to a husband and wife because apparently they are psychic and they can hold seances, and she can talk to her late husband every day. So she puts them up in a house and everything else like that. And so he goes and he gets a friend of his who's older and possibly an old teacher.
No, it's his current tutor.
Oh, I apologise. His current tutor to come to the seance because he knows he'll just disrupt the whole thing. And yes, that's what happens. However, when he visits him, he just happens to mention, what he's currently working on, which is something that's a translation that has to be translated from the Abbot, from the Latin, and there has to be. It concerns the gold of Abbot Thomas, which he apparently buried somewhere and has left clues for someone to find it. Apparently, he got taken by the devil. He made an arrangement with the devil and he set a guardian over this gold. The rest of this is mostly them trying to work out what the
Clues.
the clues mean. Thank you, Jet, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what most of it is. Every now and again, like behind the stained glass windows, you hear the rustling of wings and see a little sort of dark shape go across. And when they're up on the roof of the college, at one point the tutor thinks he's being attacked by a bird, and he's not. In the end, the tutor goes down there. They find the right brick. He goes down there, finds the gold, but there's something else there. All this slime comes out, and at one point there's a hand that just pulls up over his face, which is very much an M.R. James trope. And the tutor gets out of there, scared shitless, totally scared shitless, locks himself in his room. And every evening there's this slime all over the house, over the stairs and everything else like that. The housekeeper's really annoyed. So
Very H.P. Lovecraft.
yeah,
Yes.
and he gets the boy to go and put the stuff back, which he does, but it's too late. He's ended up, the tutor ends up in a wheel-bound chair, the bath chair, I think they call it, and he's left outside to look at the thingies. And the abbot comes for him. And that's where it ends. This does not work. I'm sorry, it doesn't. It's all based about the research on the clues rather than the scare. And the scare is brief like that, and that's it. And
I
it's
think that it probably works better. I have not read the short story. I
may have done.
assume it probably works better in the short story because it probably has an atmosphere. Characters feeling things or thinking things or being, haunted by things.
Yep.
The treasure hunting part and the figuring out the clues part
Yep.
actually feels quite modern. There's a clue finding montage where they figure out the thing, and it's quite a clever. There's a stained glass window and there's clues in it, and they figure it out, and there's
They
a pattern and
vandalised
everything.
the stained glass window.
They vandalized the stained glass window. And I thought, oh, okay, did the abbot actually put obviously he paid to have the window installed and designed it. Did he put the black on top of it? Did somebody later put the black on top of it? That's interesting. But did no one read Latin? Because some of it sounds like Bible verses, but some of it obviously isn't. But perhaps nobody cares.
Kilroy was here.
Yeah, I liked all of that. It was interesting. I was invested. I was also invested in the tutor, obviously being this intelligent man.
Yeah. This, again,
But
is another
being-
trope of M.R. James. It's always an antiquarian, a tutor, a man of the cloth. It's always something like that.
Yes.
Because that's
And
what
he
M.R.
actually-
James's world was.
Right.
He was
And
cocooned in it.
He's slowly being corrupted
Yes, yes, very much
by
so.
the gold.
Yep.
And I don't think it comes across as well in this because we don't get into his head. And I think if we got into his head, we would see it more. Because he says, no, I don't care. It's base
Yeah,
metal.
he makes a I'm not interested in the gold.
Right.
And it's case,
I
so
would-
where suddenly he's going down there on his own, it's...
Yes, I think that he originally he's interested because he knows it's rubbish, but it's a good story. And then he gets more and more invested. And as they're figuring out when the young lord comes to him with hey, I know what window it is, and let's figure out. Now he's invested.
Yep.
And it does tell how much gold there is. And he has a moment of calculating that and then going, yeah, but I'm sure it's rubbish. I'm sure it's not really gold.
Well,
And then he even
because-
says later,
I apologise, carry on.
well, he even says later after it's found, oh, it's base metal.
Because Abbot Thomas was into alchemy.
Right.
Yeah.
So it looks like gold, but they show us gold.
Yeah.
And it seems like the theme is he's corrupted by greed. And when you're corrupted by greed, you're not rewarded for that.
This was
So-
read to a group of young men in M.R. James's chambers one Christmas evening after dinner. Every year he'd read them a ghost story in his chambers, in his rooms, and that's why he wrote them. So that's the origin of this particular one. Well, of practically all of them, to be fair.
I think what doesn't work here is the themes are okay. It's that, as you said, the story is more interesting and the treasure hunt is more interesting. It also doesn't make any logical sense for Abbot Thomas to have left solvable clues to a buried treasure and then not want anyone to take the treasure.
Because he's an evil git. That's why he gets.
Well,
he
that
doesn't
does
get
make
taken
sense.
by the devil. He goes off willingly with the devil.
As an alternative to being burned alive.
No. Even the clues to find the treasure means he perpetuates the cycle of corruption.
That's true.
That
That
very
is a good point.
That's very good. Do you know? I think that might be the best thing you've ever said on this show.
Perpetuates?
Have a lolly. I'm happy now. It's been a good one tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Wow.
I don't. Maybe you absorbed it while you were sleeping.
I might have. It was playing. And
What a thing to absorb while you're sleeping, an M.R. James ghost story.
par for the
I-
course, honestly.
I don't think the ending of this particular televised version does it justice.
It's very sudden and doesn't really...
And they all go off and
Leaving
leave him.
in his bath
And
chair.
you have the implication of when he asks the young man, please go put this back. You kind of have the implication that the young man agrees to do it, but doesn't want to.
I agree.
And I don't think we're shown that he does.
I think he does.
That's left up in the air.
I can't remember. I only watched it. When did I watch it? Friday evening. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I watched it yesterday. I waited till it got dark to watch it.
Shows how much it's sunk in, doesn't it?
So did I.
You
Yeah, it
watched
was
it
the
in the
dark behind your
beautiful
eyelids.
starlit night
Well, no, I have my
of your
sleep mask
eyelids.
on and it has Bluetooth earpieces, so I was waiting for it to be dark.
Oh, you ponce. So, I'm going to say with this one. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I wouldn't bother. It's that's nothing against the filmmaker or anything like that. It's just this is not.
The story
I
itself.
think maybe this.
I'm going to disagree with both of you.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
I think this was excellent. It put me soundly to sleep,
Okay.
and I was sleeping all throughout the night, so mission accomplished. Definitely listen to this right before bed.
There we go. There's a review. Give me 2 seconds. I want to look something up. M.R. James.
She's doing interneting.
To
Look
the
at her.
internet.
She's on the internet.
Lost Hearts. That's the one we're going to do. Let's just quickly go to that.
Oh, that's on the same DVD.
Yep. That's the one we're going to be doing next show.
Lost
Okay.
House.
Lost Hearts. Again, it's a television story, Brian.
Lost Hearts, a ghost story by M.R. James, a bite-sized audiobook.
No, that's not it. I think
There's another one,
I don't think
audiobook.
YouTube will have it. I think you may have to go elsewhere.
Another audiobook. How long is it?
It's going to be approximately the same. I remember it's a
Audiobook?
TV thing, so what, 30, 35 minutes, something like
Audiobook?
that. Brian, I don't think you're going to find it on YouTube. It will have been taken down.
Yeah, well, it ain't being watched then.
I thought you had other means. Ah, dear.
For this,
Yeah, you don't like them, do
look,
you?
I'm good, but
It is a little obscure.
It's obscure, but at the same time, it's a fairly recent DVD release. And it's the BFI.
Yeah, it is BFI.
So
It is a
thought
lovely
maybe
box set.
is it Daily Motion or something like that might do it. I don't go to Daily Motion myself. I don't tend to watch anything on the
That's
computer. I
not
tend
it.
to watch it on the telly. You see, so well, we'll find out if Brian gets that. We're going to do Midnight, the David Tennant story.
The one I hate.
We're not
Love
going
this
to do
one.
Midnight. We're going to do
I
something
just
else.
find Midnight deeply, deeply disturbing.
I think that's the point of it.
Yes, it is effective. That's the problem.
Would you
It
rather
does
we
its
didn't
job
do
very
it?
well.
I'm content, but I need you to find a replacement of a really scary Doctor Who story.
A proper, scary, modern
From
one.
all 61 years, you can choose.
Okay.
Pick a story. Any story, shuffle
Okay.
it, return it to the pack.
there I put it all in chat.
Let me have a look. I'm going to end up broadcasting this, but go on. A little bit.
Okay, let me think.
Which chat, Brian?
General.
I'm just seeing. Oh, yeah, no, that's a ghost story. That's a bite-sized audio book.
Yeah.
That's not
Check
it.
below it. I put the
Midnight, Mr.
Everything.
James Snorefest, something else. What?
Yep. Midnight, MR James Snorefest, and something else.
I don't. Oh, that's the list of what would. Right. Gotcha. I'm having trouble connecting the dots tonight, aren't I?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Dear me, this isn't good, 57. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't have a steak. Did have cake, though.
I know.
I
Well,
did-
cake is important.
When we did role-playing on Wednesday night, around our brother
Yeah, how's that going?
Our brother from another podcast, Adam Purcell, has a gaming evening on Wednesday evenings. So there's myself, there's Karen and Keith from Staggering Stories, and their son Jamie, and Adam, obviously. And Jamie's been wanting to run D&D, proper D&D. But I don't think he's ever done it before. But the amount of preparation this boy's done, the roll-up was like that. Bang! He knew exactly what he was doing. We had the first actual session last Wednesday, and we had a hell of a lot of fun. It's just I feel very sorry for him because he's got us three as players, us four as players. We don't tend to take things very seriously.
No.
Yeah, I know. Do you know, I once got removed from a Star Wars role-playing group, in-person role-playing thing, because I didn't take it seriously. Even though I was taking it seriously. Go figure. My character was basically the sort of character that was a complete coward, so as soon as fighting broke out, I went and hid. They didn't like that. So, plus, we were taking it a little bit silly. Anyway, yeah, so really good. Looking forward to doing more next Wednesday. Yeah, that'll be fun. Definitely. And that's when I had cake. Karen had bought a cake, and I had some chocolate cake, which was nice. I'm seeing her tomorrow, actually, for lunch. Excuse me if I'm alive. Right, so it's going to be the Doctor Who story of Lilibet's Choice, which is hopefully really scary.
Well, I just briefly looked at Lost Hearts, just as not as a giveaway, but as just pick out themes.
Yep.
Would Stones of Blood work thematically?
That's a hard one to say, but I don't care. That's a great story. Shall we just... Brian, you happy to do Stones of Blood?
I like Stones of Blood.
Let's do Stones of Blood.
7 foot tall Amazonian.
Prevert.
I'm just saying.
I'm sorry, love. You really are not her type.
Yeah. I'm alive.
There is that too.
Eldrad must live.
Indeed.
I know
So,
that's not Stones of Blood, but it is a 7-foot Amazonian.
Stones of Blood, Lost Hearts by M.R. James. We're doing a run-up of ghost stories up till Christmas, and then things are going to change a little bit, which we're going to discuss afterwards. And a big finish. I've no idea what's next. I'm hoping the live version of The Stuff of Legends is released. Because I've had a trailer for that and it sounds like a lot of fun. So
Aren't there supposed to be more Paternoster gang?
there is. It's not out yet, though. I'm not sure when it is out. I'm sorry.
That's sad.
It's a bit hard to keep track of all of the big finish, quite frankly.
Yes.
Like I say, I swear, this went wrong. I used to say that Big Finish are trying to kill me with the sheer amount of volume they released. Somehow that got back to Nick Briggs that I thought he was going to kill me.
Well,
Go figure.
Someone doesn't.
exterminate.
Go figure. Just, it's not
Someone
amazing how
doesn't
I mean, it's
understand
the old
figures.
Chinese whispers thing,
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It's it used to confuse him when I used to say there were many clones of him, because that's the only way I could work out him doing everything. So yeah, that's it for next week. Sorry, not next week. The next show in 2 weeks'
In
time,
2
which I
weeks.
think is on the 8th of December, 9 p.m. It's a Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern. And of course, this will be a podcast. Please click like and subscribe on YouTube. Please share this with your friends and like and whatever on your podcast platform of choice. See how good I was. It was really good, wasn't it? What are you up to over the next 2 weeks, Brian?
Thanksgiving next week.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well.
And then working more.
Something worthwhile.
Doing more training.
It's
The training
boss.
never ends, and it's always the same training, isn't
It's
it?
the same training. I can answer these questions in my sleep now.
And recite
In
M.R.
fact, I'm
James
pretty
ghost
sure I
stories.
have.
Yeah, I before I renew in 28, before I renew my certificate, I have to do 20 hours of students with special needs training and 40 hours of reading instruction training on my own time. The trainings generally, you can find ones that don't cost you money, but you're not reimbursed for any of your time. You're not reimbursed for any of your travel or any of the equipment it takes to do it if you do it online, and it is required for certification. And we pay to get recertified.
Thing is, in
I
America,
wonder why
I've
they can't
noticed,
do teachers.
I do sometimes look at America and think you pay for everything. Everything has
Yes.
a cost. Everything.
Yeah.
It's capitalism gone mad. I mean, we're bad over here, but Jesus. Yeah. Right, Brian, what are you... no, I've already asked you. You
You
can
just
shut up now. Philippines.
Thanksgiving, I am on the never-ending group chat of what we're all planning and bringing and making, and
Which
who's going to
relative
be
is going
where.
to cause the argument this year?
We actually have very, very little of that.
Could you stand up and yell, I hate Trump, and get away with it?
I just wouldn't.
Yeah,
We
but
kind of
could
have
you?
an ongoing, probably, but I just
Zug.
can't. Like, our Thanksgiving is very rarely extended family because we live so far away from extended family.
Yep, that's understandable.
Growing up in South Florida, we were a 24-hour drive from most of the extended family.
Good Lord.
So it was always just our family and then some friends. And now it's still usually our family. Our family has just grown. And then friends. And while we strongly differ on some of the political spectrum, in general, we kind of have an ongoing agreement that we see each other so infrequently that arguing about things we disagree on versus enjoying the time we have together. Enjoying the time we have together is more important.
Hang on.
We can disagree with things all the time.
So you don't
you doing
do
it right?
The airing of the...
A little bit doing it right.
Yeah.
Well, they don't do the airing of the grievances
No.
nor the feats of strength.
No.
Right, okay.
there's-
There's obviously some... Right, okay.
There's
We don't
far
have
too much-
Thanksgiving. We have Christmas Day.
Yeah. Dave was always deeply confused that none of us like hated our relatives, or had arguments, or like couldn't stand each other. And I was like,
fool.
if we didn't stand each other, we wouldn't get together. We just wouldn't like. But I just generally, there's so much else to talk about that I generally don't. Because everybody treats each other with respect. Everybody treats each other with love. So while we might disagree very strongly, I have never had anybody we brought to the house be treated with anything other than respect.
Are you the Waltons?
I do have a sneaking suspicion we might be.
Right.
My mother
Absolutely.
preferred to watch the Waltons. At one time, the Waltons were on at 7 p.m. and Star Trek was on at 7 p.m.
Oh no!
And we were in ongoing negotiations about who got to watch what.
It was the same with
Watch
Little
what?
House on the Prairie. My nan had a friend who'd come round on Thursdays, and instead of letting me watch stuff on BBC One, they had to watch Little House on the Prairie on ITV, and I hated it.
Yes,
Though I
because there
did
was
read
one
all the
television.
Yes. There's always
So-
one television. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, but
it-
this is back in the day. This was an old black and white thing. You remember the...
We didn't have black and white, but it was still back in the day.
Oh, I'm old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No, America... no, to be fair, America did adopt colour quicker.
This was, the Waltons were in reruns by then, but she still wanted to watch that instead of Star Trek. Yeah. So we had ongoing negotiations.
You've got the boy coming over, haven't you? All right. I wish you a lovely, happy Thanksgiving thingy, Bobby. I hope you
Thank
do
you.
have
It's
a lovely
very
time.
food related.
It's
There
very
will be
food
pie.
related.
So
It
it's-
commemorates when the Pilgrims were kicked out of Europe and came here because they wanted to practice religious persecution here.
Right.
And then nearly starved to death.
And
Yes.
nothing changed.
Yes, yes. The people that greeted them and fed them
Yeah.
should have built a wall.
Yeah, no, I agree. And they should have been vaccinated.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, let's move on from that darkness, shall we? We're back in 2 weeks. In a week's time, we have another Tales of the Astral Sea from Thaco Gaming. Brian?
Next Saturday, Tales from the Astral Sea episode. I think we're on 40 by now.
We're in an epoch.
Yeah. More of the dungeon crawl, exploring Temple of the Dark Gods. That's on
Any
Thaco
turkeys?
Gaming.
Any turkeys?
No, you fried them all.
Oh. Seriously, folks, Thaco Gaming, YouTube, go and watch the last episode.
And yeah, it's on at 8 o'clock Eastern. No, I'm sorry, 3 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock UK.
Time maths can be tricky, can't it?
Time is relative.
Yes, lunchtime doubly so.
I think it's an illusion. Right, we've managed to get all that right. Filled all those little gaps in around those sayings. Lovely.
astounding.
Once we come off the show, I'm going to tell you what I've got Adam for Christmas and what it's led to.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
What's her name?
It's a he. Right. So we're going back in 2 weeks on the 8th of December. Night, Lilibet. No, it's night, Siobhan.
Oh, we're doing Waltons, are we?
Oh, no, we're just going. Say goodbye, Brian.
Night, John Boy.
Yeah. God. Bye.
You've got to fight for what you want, for all that you believe. It's right to fight for what we want, to live the way we please. As long as we have done our best, then no one can do more. And life and love and happiness are well worth fighting for. They're well worth fighting for.
You have been watching the Flash and Blade podcast live, series 1, number 203, featuring the Brian, Lilibet the Wonder Girl, and me, Siobhan Galishaw. No John Levine this week. Ah.